Hi class, I'm Allie, and today my topic is going to be are food deserts to blame for America's poor eating habits. My main claim is food deserts are not to be blamed for America's poor eating habits. My three main claims are going to be junk food eateries are the most common and are more common in neighborhoods, and the second one is low income interferes from buying healthy meals, and the third one is absence of supermarkets, ranchers, business sectors, and reliable food suppliers. So the first claim is junk food eateries are the most common in neighborhoods. Lack of outlets selling healthy meals. Both high and low income households, including those living in food deserts, travel relatively similar distances to reach grocery stores. The average American travels roughly 5.5 miles to buy their groceries. Low income households travel slightly less distance, an average of 4.8 miles. Americans who live in food deserts across the board travel farther, an average of 7 miles or so, but that includes those who live in rural areas. Those in urban food deserts travel a bit less than overall average, while low-income households that live in urban food deserts do not own a car. The group that the food desert argument is mainly about travel just about 2 miles on average. Most junks are sold to rich homesteads, promoting their urge to buy such unhealthy meals. One of the assumptions of food desert theory is that higher income people eat a healthier diet than poorer people do. From experience traveling throughout the rural western U.S., I would argue that is not the case. When it comes to food and nutrition, it's not just that the higher income Americans have more money. They benefit even more from higher levels of education and better information about the benefits of healthier eating. Indeed, education accounts for roughly 20% of the association between income and healthy eating, according to the study, with an additional 7% coming from differences about nutrition. Second, my second claim, low income interferes residents from buying healthy meals. Opening markets has a low impact on changing diet for people with low wages. Healthy meals are more expensive compared to junks, hence people of low class prefer to have them. In an article called Can Low-Income Americans Afford a Healthy Diet?, it is stated that, in reality, food prices pose a significant barrier for many consumers who are trying to balance a good nutrition with affordability, meaning that people who want to maintain a healthy lifestyle won't be able to because of the price of groceries are too expensive for them. According to an article by the Food Research and Action Center, the USDA says that vehicle access is perhaps most important determinant of whether or not a family can access affordable and nutritious food. Buying food at markets and not having your own car to transport them will not allow you to get the right amount of products that you need, because you need more hands to carry your groceries because you won't have your own vehicle. Because many public transportations don't allow you to have many items to carry on board, since there is a restricted amount of space. And my third point is absence of supermarkets, ranchers, business sectors, and reliable food suppliers. High probability of people buying junks due to unavailability of healthy meals. The diet in the rural West is often regardless of income. Vegetables are shunned even down to the measly prices of lettuce and tomato placed on a hamburger bun. I've often seen people remove them at the table and set them aside as though they were poisonous. Mac and cheese is considered a vegetable, and there's nothing unusual about someone ordering a steak or a burger or fried chicken with mac and cheese as fries as your sides. Get into someone's expensive Dodge Ram truck and you'll see the floor covered with empty bags of Doritos and other potato chips, and empty soda cans almost never die. In an article written in 2013, how a lack of access to healthy foods can affect public health, they stated that food deserts are the resulting health issues of a serious problem facing community health today. These complications from poor nutrition are not simply a health issue, but a huge city planning issue. They basically are saying that because there's barely any places in rural areas that have grocery stores or healthy places to eat around the country, that it is a struggle to maintain somewhat a healthy lifestyle. My fourth point is going to be culture as well plays an important role in nutrition. Lately, there have been a lot of articles why Asian American students do better academically than other minority students. Of course, family, work, ethics, and expectations have a lot to do with it, but so does nutrition. Look at the diet of an Asian American compared to other groups. Asians eat far more vegetables and fish, foods that are good for brain, and much less processed food, sugar, red meat, and carbs. In an article by Dr. Edward Group, he states how the media portrays the perfect body, and that magazine full of slim girls and muscular men may lead to a negative body image and in turn encourage unhealthy habits. When it comes to the media in our own culture, it affects teenagers and then leads them to disorders such as anorexia, bulimia, and others.
Okay, well, the proposition's identified. It's got a negative term in it, which makes it a little bit confusing to start with. You also need to spend a little bit of time explaining the concept of food deserts, which may not be something that everybody in the audience is going to be familiar with. I've heard this argument before, and I'm still a little unclear as to what constitutes a food desert and why it is that people believe it is contributing to these particular problems. You preview the supporting points. You've got 3 supporting points that you mention here, but in the body of your speech you have 4, so that was a little bit confusing. You label the first point, and I think the first point is phrased as a claim, and it's basically suggesting that the availability of food outlets is not substantially different to where people travel to. To me, that was the strongest piece of evidence that people had relatively equivalent distances that they had to travel to buy the foods that they need to get, and that when there are differences, they are usually minor differences that are accounted for by rural living. So the notion that people don't have access to particular kind of food seems less likely to be true. I understand the point that you're making there. But conversely, when you get to a later point, you present evidence that suggests that one of the problems is that people who do have access by traveling, they can't transport their food, and so it's not so much that there isn't a place to get the food as it is there isn't a way to get the food back from the place that is available. I'm not sure that the people who created this concept of food deserts wouldn't say that that's part of the problem, that that is in fact descriptive of what the issue is. So that's why I think it's important to define that a little bit more at the beginning of the presentation. The third point, I don't know what it is you're saying here. It's several phrases stuck together. There's not a sentence here. It doesn't make a declarative, so I don't know what the end point is that I'm supposed to get out of it. The fourth point that you have is that people just don't like vegetables, and I can understand that. Although you do present some information that suggests that ethnic groups eat particular kinds of foods and thrive as a result of that. I don't really hear much evidence about that. That seems like it's a complete assertion. On an earlier point related to the same issue, you're basically saying look at the floor of an expensive Ford truck and see all of the fast food wrappers, and I guess the equivalent argument here is that income is not really the primary issue, although that's what you said it was earlier, so that seems a little bit inconsistent with the position as well. The negative body image that you have on that last point feels like it's going off in a completely different tangent, and it's not particularly relevant to the proposition that you have. This is being read the whole time. You don't really seem to engage in the audience, and the ending seemed completely abrupt, like you just ran out of things to say and stopped in the middle of a sentence, and you need to have something that's a little bit better than that. All right, thank you.